Welcome to Bryn Eryr. My name is Gwalchmai. Now, this is a very special house, and it took a long time to build. My family by itself wouldn't be able to build it in enough time, so we had local people from the community around to come and help us. We needed a lot of materials to build the house. Our roof is made out of wheat. It took us a long time to grow and collect the wheat from our farms. The walls are made out of clom. Now, if you haven't heard of clom before, clom is a mixture of stone dust, mud, straw and clay, mixed with water and then layered to make the wall. Now you know what the house is made out of. Come inside with me, see what it looks like. So here we are, right next to the most important thing in the house, the fire. Now before you arrived this morning, I had to make the fire. The way I made the fire was by using a piece of metal here, a piece of iron, we call a steel, and a stone called flint. Now if you hit these two things together, hopefully you'll be able to see the effect. Now those sparks created by the steel and the flint hitting each other, the way that we would make it's the fastest way to make fire. Now I'd have to go out into the woods and collect a mushroom as well and dry that mushroom out. And once that mushroom is dry, those sparks would hit that mushroom when I strike the two together, and that's how I would make my fire in the morning. It's the fastest way to do it anyway. There are other ways. Now the fire is a very important thing, like I said. It gives us light, it gives us heat, so we can keep warm, it dries the house out, and we can cook our food on it. But the most important thing that it can do is keep everyone healthy, and that is not too much to do with the fire, but the smoke. The smoke rises very, very slowly up into our roof. Now our roof doesn't have a chimney, so the smoke has to find its way through the little bits of wheat that make up our roof, and as it does that, it dries everything out. So it makes sure that my roof doesn't rot very, very quickly. It preserves it, keeps it, lasts for a long time. As it's doing that as well, it kills off all the bugs that could live in our roof. So it's a very important thing. So that means that things don't live on the floor, don't live in my roof, and more importantly, don't live and crawl on my bed when I'm trying to sleep. So it keeps all the pests away. It also keeps birds and mice out of the roof, because they would like to take the thatch and use it for nesting perhaps, or maybe just eat things in my house as well. The smell of the smoke scares them off. So the smoke is a very important thing. The last thing it does is probably the most important. We have a cloud of smoke just above our heads, so we're not breathing it in. It's above our heads, and this cloud of smoke stops the sparks from going up and hitting the thatch. Now if dry thatch and sparks hit each other, it will start a fire, which would not be good for my house. So the smoke stops that from happening, so it keeps everyone nice, warm and safe. So the wheat is very important for our roof, because we can build our roof out of the long strands of wheat. But it's also more important, if anything, to make bread and food. Right here we have a grinding stone, or a quern, it's called by another name. And this quern, or this grinding stone, is a very, very important thing. Something that you would hear every single day in every roundhouse. You'd hear this noise. Now that noise would be somebody grinding all the wheat. You put the wheat into the hole in the top, and then you turn it round and it crushes all the grain, slowly turning it into flour. So now we have enough flour. We need to mix that flour now with butter, salt and water to turn it into a dough. Now that dough will then be placed into this clay oven here. We have to heat it up first though, with the fire that we have burning right next to it. That fire will heat up all the clay, and then we place the dough on to our little paddle, put it into the clay oven, close the door behind it, and within about 30 minutes we should have a nice warm loaf of bread. It's very, very tasty. Unfortunately, our bread doesn't last long, not only because it tastes nice, but it goes hard within a day or two. So we need to make bread every single day. That means in order to make enough flour to make enough bread for the entire family, you have to be on there for about 3 to maybe 6 hours a day. It's a lot of hard work. So the farm is a very, very important place. It provides us with lots of different things, from our food and our clothes as well. Now this is a weaving loom. Now this loom here, once it's complete, will have a pattern all the way down it that we can turn into different clothes, or maybe a blanket for the bed. Now in order to make this pattern, we need to collect all the wool from our sheep. We then have to clean it and dye it using natural dyes from the forest and the fields around, and then we have to spin it into thin thread. We tie the wool onto the top here and onto the bottom, and then we weave back and forth with different coloured strands of wool that have been dyed, and that then will make a pattern which we can then turn into our clothes. And the problem is, it can take up to a year to make something similar to this tunic. If it was brightly colourful and had lots of pattern, it would take much longer. Now, most of the time, my life revolves around the farm. Working on the farm and fixing and maintaining and doing hard work, but a lot of it can be quite boring. Every now and again, unfortunately, we have to defend our farm or our houses or the communities around. Now I'm very fortunate because I come from quite a wealthy family. That means that if I have to defend my house or my tribe, I can call on lots of different things to protect me if I do have to fight against another tribe or whoever it may be. Now most people would use a spear. This is quite a fancy spear. There's a lot of iron on it. Sometimes it'll be a little bit smaller, less iron, less expensive. But they would normally have a spear to fight with, and they would also make a shield. Now this shield here, it can be either a small one like this, which is quite light, means you can run around a little bit faster perhaps, or I prefer using a heavier one and a bigger shield like this. This gives you a little bit more protection, covers your body. Now this shield is made out of wood. It's painted, have leather on the sides to stop swords and axes and things going through. The most important bit though is right in the middle there, this piece of iron. This piece of iron is called a boss. As you can see, it's been used a couple of times before because of all the dents. But that boss has protected my hand, which is right behind. If I didn't protect my hand, then I wouldn't be able to pick up this shield and defend the rest of my body. So it's a very useful thing. You can also bop people on the nose with it as well from time to time. Now, if you are wealthy, you might have a chainmail shirt on as well. It's a shirt made out of tiny little links of metal. Gives you a lot of flexibility, but also it protects you from swords and things as well. Unfortunately, I don't have one of those, but what I do have is a helmet. This helmet is made out of iron, so it's very, very strong. And also, it has a funny shape, but it's a very useful shape. And I'll show you why that shape is so important. Normally I'd wear a woolen cap underneath, and that would be added protection, but I don't need it today. It's very, very strong. I can see most things out of here, so I can see my enemy coming towards me. I can breathe, which is a very good thing, so I can last longer in battle so I don't get out of breath. The only problem is with this, it has no holes for the ears, so I can't really hear anything. Now if someone came up to attack me, I'm going to use this old sword here. Celtic swords tend to be sharp on the sides, so they don't tend to poke people. They use the edges. So if someone came at me with the sword when I was fighting against them, they would cut down more than likely. So let's see what happens if that were to happen to me when I was wearing this. Now I couldn't really feel that, but that helmet protected my head really, really well. Now this is a very important and special thing. This is a sword. It was handed down to me by my father, and it is something that I would carry on me to maybe show off, but if I needed to, I would take this into battle as well. Swords are very, very rare. Not everybody has them. It takes a long time to make, and if they break, it's a big loss. So you could get an awful lot of things if you were to sell this. This is made out of a very good quality iron. It's really flexible and strong for an iron blade. We have bone here for the handle and bronze. So there's lots of useful materials to make it, and it's light. So that means I can use it and fight with it and my arm won't get too tired. Now hopefully we'll look after this well enough to hand this, pass it on to my children when they grow up, and they have to protect our tribe from future enemies, hopefully. And also they might even want to sell it one day. It's worth an awful lot. Right, we've reached the end. You now know how we build our houses, what I do during the day, and all the work I have to do as well. It's been a pleasure meeting you all, and I hope I'll see you again soon.